Welcome once again to Lehto's Law. Here's Steve Lehto.
Mark Phillips sent me a crazy story out of England. Builder tears down refurbishment at £500,000 house after payment dispute with owner. And of course, £500,000, not the weight of the house, but the value of the house. Ross McGinnis wrote the story for Yahoo News. And basically, what we're getting at here is the builder was doing work on the house, got in a dispute with the homeowner, and rather than saying, I'm going to stop working until I get paid or we resolve the issue, just decided to tear the house down. And that is not the appropriate measure. This is my pro tip to you if you're a builder in the audience. My pro tip, as the lawyer, I'm going to tell you, do not tear the house down when you get in a dispute. A builder has been accused of destroying his own work at a £500,000 house in an argument over money. The property in Leicester lies in ruins after large parts of it appeared to have been torn down. Residents along Guildford Road in Stonygate were shocked when the home was reduced to rubble overnight. The owner bought the house for £475,000 last April and was recently valued at over $500,000. He said he hired a builder to carry out renovations, including a 2-story extension and to enlarge the kitchen diner. And there's a 4-bedroom detached property that we're talking about here, and this all began in February. That's when the work was being contracted. But the owner says that he fell out with the builder after he said that the builder demanded an extra £3,500. So the work was progressing, and somewhere along the line, the builder came to him and said, you owe me another about $5,000 US. You owe me another $5,000. Owner said, I don't think I do. The builder said, I think you do. And apparently took the law into his own hands. So neighbors saw the house being destroyed on the 1st of June while the man was on holiday with his family. To the Americans in the audience, that's vacation. He said it's a nightmare. Unfortunately, I picked the worst builder in Britain. Oh? He says, I bought the house last year, employed a builder to start work in February. We wanted lots of work doing, so it could be our home for 6 of us. The work included a 2-story extension, a new roof, wiring, and we wanted it to be more environmentally friendly. He added, I was on holiday 200 miles away when all the scaffolding was taken down and the house was damaged, and damaged is putting it lightly. He said he's contacted police and also trading standards, which I'm guessing is the people who oversee builders. Neighbors said much of the house was demolished with a digger. I'm assuming it's a piece of construction equipment. Again, the English speak a different language. I'm joking. You know what they say? America and England are 2 countries divided by a common language. One neighbor said there was scaffolding on the house when it was taken down. I did think the work might be done already, and the owners might be moving back in. I was stunned when I walked past the house last week and saw the roof had been ripped off, and the new extension was just a hole in the front of the house. I feel badly for the owners. They must be absolutely gutted. So we hear about stories involving remodeling nightmares. I've told a few on this show. And so there's a lot of ways these things can go wrong. And so you would think if you're having a huge job done in a house, we don't know how much the original contract was for, but the fact that they got in a dispute over another $5,000, it sounds like that's something that you'd be able to work out one way or another. If nothing else, you finish the job if you're the builder and put a lien on the house. I'm assuming you can do that in England, because in America, that's what you do. You put a lien on the house, and then you would litigate it if necessary. But these kinds of problems happen because workmen who do work want to get paid. And of course, the homeowners often think that they're being charged too much. And there are situations where it's difficult to estimate how much a job is going to cost. And so if you have a contract that says, we will do this for this set amount of money, many builders have got clauses in their contract that say, but if we encounter something else, it might cost more. And there'll be some provisions in there as to what will happen at that moment in time. But the real question is, what is your remedy? If you have a problem and you're the person who's providing the work and materials, or you're doing the job, whatever it might be. This arises in other settings as well. For instance, if you're a mechanic and you do work on a car, let's suppose that you're a mechanic, you do work on a car, and the person drops the car off in the morning, you do the work, the job is finished, and you call the owner up and you say, hey, look, I finished the job. They go, how much did it cost? You tell them. They say, okay, I'll come in tomorrow and pick the car up. and you come into work the next morning and the car's gone. And you find out that the owner just came and grabbed their car. And you call them and go, what's going on? They said, we decided that you're overcharged. We're not going to pay you. So there's a way to assert a mechanic's lien in most states. Now, could you go grab the car and rip your parts back off of it? I wouldn't recommend that. No, because your remedy is to do the mechanic's lien and go through the courts. And in fact, if you did it the hard way, like I just described, you might get yourself arrested. And I'll tell you a funny story that happened to a friend of mine. A friend of mine contracted with a trucking company. And they were someplace, and they had a trucking company come out. And my friend showed them a pile of stuff and said, I need this put on a truck and taken to a location in another state. How much? And the guy gives them a price. That is loading everything, driving it, and unloading it. Gives them a price, puts it in writing, signs a contract. My friend hands him a check and leaves. The guy loads the stuff on the truck, drives it to the place my friend asked him to take it to, starts unloading it, and halfway through the unloading process, finds my friend and goes, by the way, you owe me some more money. My friend goes, what for? The guy goes, it turns out it was a harder job than we thought. My friend goes, contract doesn't say anything about raising prices if it's a harder job. Besides, what was harder about the job than what I described to you? That is, take that stuff, put it on a truck, and drive it there. And the guy goes, are you going to pay me the extra money or aren't you? My friend goes, no. Guy goes, okay. He walks outside and he talks to his workers, and they start loading everything back onto the truck. My friend calls me and goes, what do I do? Here's the interesting thing. The stuff on the truck is owned by my friend. The right to possess it was given to the trucking company for the sole purpose of moving it to where my friend wanted it. And once it's unloaded, it's there. The fact that they unloaded it and then started putting it back on the truck, they're now stealing it. They are now stealing it. That is theft. I said, call the police. My friend goes, won't they just say it's a dispute? I said, no. I go, call the police, and if the police don't work with you, hand the phone to me, and I'll explain to the police what's going on. My friend called me back a little while later, and he goes, yeah, police showed up, and all this stuff got unloaded again. Now, here's the thing. You might say, but Steve, what if there really was something going on there? What if there really was something difficult about the job? What if your friend pulled a fast one and underneath the pile of stuff was a block of lead that weighed 3 billion pounds? What if? What if? Well, first of all, if there was something they discovered at the other end, they could have stopped loading this stuff and said, hey, we're not going to do this job for this price. They could have. The fact that they loaded it all and drove it someplace and then claimed they had a problem makes it look more like more of a shakedown to me than anything else. So the other thing is, but let's assume that there's actually some legitimate reason that they have where they're allowed to charge more money. Whatever. I can't think of a reason, but let's assume there is one. The remedy to that is they unload the stuff and go, will you pay us the extra money? And my friend would say no, because I advised him not to. And they would then say, okay, we'll see you in court. And they would go to court and file a lawsuit and explain to a judge why my friend owed them more money than was contracted for in the contract, with the numbers on it derived by the trucking company on a contract drafted by the trucking company and agreed to by the trucking company before they loaded a single thing. And then they loaded all the stuff, they drove it all the way over there and unloaded it and then said, we want more money. They can explain that to a judge. And I would have been happy to have that discussion in front of a judge. But the second you start loading that stuff back on the truck, you're stealing it. And under Michigan law, you are liable for 3 times the value of the stuff you're stealing if you get sued for it. And of course, it's a crime. It's a crime. So that one resolved well. But I had a professor who once told us, and I've said it before, self-help is fraught with peril. And the point is that if there's a legal remedy where you can go to court, and this, they tell you at the end of people's court, don't get angry, don't get mad, just go take them to court. And the point is that people do stuff like this, and the guy knocking the house down, he's going to need a whole bunch of lawyers, criminal lawyers, civil lawyers. I mean, he's going to have legal issues there that will blow his mind, and it's probably going to cost him more than $5,000 to hire the attorneys, let alone what's going to happen to him afterwards. So It's a bizarre story. Mark Phillip, thanks for sending it. From Yahoo News, builder tears down refurbishment at £500,000 house after a payment dispute with the owner. Ross McGinnis wrote it. Questions or comments, put them below. Others will talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching Lehto's Law. Notice on a laundromat washing machine, please remove all clothes when the lights go out. When the light comes back on, you're sure to attract attention.